At Fareway, we are proud to partner with the U.S. Marine Corps and Toys for Tots each and every holiday season. Together, we've raised over $3 million in the past 30 years and have delivered hope to countless children in our communities. And with your help, we can make this year the best one yet. Simply bring in a new, unwrapped toy to your local Fareway store or donate by rounding up to the nearest dollar at checkout. Merry Christmas to everyone, and here's to the next 30 years.
Let's rodeo at the 𝗀̈ence World's Toughest Rodeo, January 10th and 11th at Wells Fargo Arena. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at HiVTix.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the 𝗀̈ence World's Toughest Rodeo, January 10th and 11th.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa Everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
What is up? It is Monday, the 16th of December. Chris and Chris with a splash of Van Winks here on Two Guys. Welcome to the program. It is Chris Hassel's 50th birthday today. We will be celebrating. 40, excuse me. Happy birthday, my friend. I love you so much. I mean that. What are you doing? You partying all night? You just going crazy? You strip club down there in Florida? What are we doing tonight?
Not a goddamn thing. I'm going into work. How do I look? Do I look 40?
How do you feel? I just went through this. Do you feel any different?
I don't feel different physically, but mentally, yes. This one's hitting me harder than any other birthday has. Like, I've never felt old. Being 40
sounds older than.
Yes. Like, I remember when my parents turned 40. I remember when I was a kid, I think I was in either kindergarten or first grade. Our bus driver was turning 40 that day. And she's like, I'm over the hill. And I'm telling you, this woman looked like she was 65.
Smokes all the time.
And she was, I'm turning 40. I'm over the hill today. I remember that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God.
I remember being a kid when people thought like 30 was old. Remember that?
Oh, God, yeah. But now we're 40? Shit. It's over, man. It's over.
I don't know why. Coincidence. This came across like my Instagram feed. Another one of my friends, because all of our friends are like turning 40 right now. All like that we like went to high school with and whatever. And another buddy of mine recently did, and he posted like a meme that said, "Life begins at 40. Everything before then is just research." Like, that's a good way to look at it,
I guess.
But then I also think it's like, let's say I die at 70. All Williams men, we usually tend to die young. So it's like, okay, I'm probably going to die at 65. Well, I mean, I'm over 2/3 done.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
It's pretty much
like,
over at this point.
Yeah, I'm not planning to live like into my 80s.
No. We live too hard.
If it happens, fine, but I'm not planning on that. So yeah, I think
so it's pretty much over at this point.
Yeah,
everything
Tim
we
McGraw. Tim McGraw
This is
song,
it.
Live Like You're
live
Dying.
like you. That's Gary Allen, right? Live like you were dying.
That's
Or
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw also has the "In My Next 30 Years."
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I remember being 20 listening to that and being like, "Huh, that
Yeah.
old bastard."
God, fuck yeah. And as Darren points out, the research is showing now that 44 is the magic age. That's when like the aging process really just goes hyperdrive.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what you need is some of that testosterone from Game Day Men's Health. We got the one there in Delray Beach.
Yeah, you're doing better at 40 than you were at 39 by far.
I am. I was like dreading 40, and then it hit, and it really didn't bother me at all. I haven't thought about it.
I hadn't thought about it at all. And then
I
I'm just
thought
sitting
about
there,
it for like 2 years. Probably.
I didn't. And then sitting there yesterday, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be 40 tomorrow. Ugh. And I know there's people in the comments who like I'm 63. What the hell are you talking? I get it. I know. But I've always.
I mean, you're really old.
I felt young at heart, but shit.
You going to order some Outback steak?
Nice, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do
for lunch
because I mean, it's my wife
Chipotle.
is super sick.
Well, there you
She's
go.
had a horrible cold all weekend. So I've been fending for both of us. I'm going to be fending for myself tonight. I don't know what it's going to be. Oh, thanks, Mom. Mom in the comments with a happy birthday.
That's sweet. Thank you, Miss Janine.
Yeah, the 40. It's just
Look at her. She pushed you.
You know what's really
you used
getting
to
to
live
me?
in her womb, and she pushed you out, and she is here to wish you a happy birthday on your hit podcast.
When I got into the business 18 years ago, like out of college, it was all about, trying to be older than you really are. Like, oh, well, no one's going to give you a chance until you get a few years under your belt. You need to look older. You need to seem older. You need to be more mature. And then, like, in the blink of an eye, now I don't want people to know how old I am. As soon as you start hitting 40,
Dude,
they're going to try to push you out of the workforce.
you should be around here these days, because you and I both started in this industry, in this market, and we were the puppies.
Mm-hmm.
We were the annoying ones that we are ancient now.
Oh, God.
Like, I sit in the press box at Jack Trice, and I'm with, and I kind of like it, because I really like the passion these young guys have, and they're positive. They're not jaded by all this shit like all of us are now. Like, they still see the good in people.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But we are like dinosaurs in that, on the day-to-day press thing. Like, we are old.
I was just I have a coworker who he will openly lie about his age because he's so afraid that he's going to get aged out. He's older than us, but he will say that he's younger than he really is because he doesn't want people to start thinking about how old he is and how he needs to be on the way out. Because, everybody's looking for younger and cheaper, and
Cheaper is the key.
Jesus Christ, I mean, we're done, man. We're going to
It's pretty much it. It's a good thing we created this, because it's the only thing we're going to have. Like, nobody's going to hire us for anything. And I mean, I'm just hoping we make it to 60 at this pace.
Well, my parents have both made it to 60. My dad's in the comments. Thank you. Yes, he says getting old absolutely sucks. Correct.
Look at Don. It all started off with some of your sperm, and look at him now.
And you know what I'm really worried about is going into work today. I really hope nobody is aware.
Yeah, they got something.
I hate that. I've
Garrett
always been able
she
to.
She feels like a celebrator to me.
Yeah, but she's not there. She's not at work today.
Okay.
I'm really hoping I can skate by, because that's going to make my day even worse than it already is.
Oh, man,
if somebody baked cookies or that's really going to piss me off.
Why would that piss you off?
Oh, it would really just piss me off. Because I don't like the attention. Leave me alone. It's Monday. My wife's sick.
The sick wife thing sucks. It does sound like we had similar weekends though, because it iced here. Did you know this? Like, it was like a brutal.
Yeah,
ice storm.
I saw a video of a car in Bondurant sliding down a driveway in
Yeah,
park.
it was just parked.
Yeah.
I think we were on the extreme end of it or whatever, but we couldn't really do anything on Saturday, and then it was just rainy and cold, So we just sat around, and it was actually kind of nice. I didn't have anywhere to go. We watched.
And no sports on.
I watched this Jack
Wait,
Black.
it was nice not to have any sports on?
Yeah,
What are you
that was
talking
awful.
about?
That was the worst part.
Yeah, it was terrible.
No,
Williams
I was
is
saying
claiming it's great.
no. I didn't have anywhere to go. Is what I was
Yeah,
saying.
okay.
Like I didn't have a game to cover. Nothing. I didn't go to the Iowa State men's game yesterday.
It is
Whatever
kind of
it
nice
was.
to slow down before the holidays a
Oh,
little bit, though.
It's great. We watched this Jack Black Christmas movie.
That thing looks terrible. I saw the
it
preview
was
for that.
So funny.
The kid accidentally writes a letter to Satan.
Oh my god!
So that part, the premise
we
is
laughed so hard.
the premise is funny, but then I saw Jack Black is in it as Satan, and it just didn't look.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
It didn't look very funny.
Chris, I know your style of humor.
Yeah.
It's very. It's got like Dumb and Dumber, old
Really?
school. Yeah,
it
it's funny.
seemed really.
I promise you'll like it. It is like the jokes are a little bit Seinfeld-ish. Like you have to think about them a little bit. It's really funny.
Okay.
So we watched that. We watched the Ben Stiller one. Which
Which
was
one's
good.
that?
The Nutcrackers. It's on like Peacock or one of those deals.
Is that Ben Stiller in the movie?
Yeah, Ben Stiller's also in. He's like the
What?
real Satan. Yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
So freaking funny.
What is this? Sorry.
I watched.
Hassel, what did you watch? I know you did a lot of like movie watching.
So we watched Bad Santa, which is always a nice little
yeah.
thing to go back to.
Nothing gets you in the spirit like movies
God,
about
it's
Satan
great.
and alcoholic Santa Claus.
Oh man, Billy Bob is so good in that role.
Oh yeah.
And there's things that are said and done because it was 20 years ago that would not be said and done today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt.
It's so good.
I even thought that about the Satan one. I'm like, man, they are. It's PG. It's PG with a hard 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I thought it was more like it looked to me like it was geared toward kids with Jack Black and all that.
To the point where like my 9-year-old is going on 16. Like she's smarter than I am.
It
So
says
she
From
understood
the
it all.
minds who brought you Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
funny.
gosh.
It is
Okay.
fucking funny.
Jack
we'll have to
Black
watch
is
that.
not Santa.
I wouldn't show it to Isley, Matt, but Cameron definitely got it.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We watched the Family Stone, which is always a good one. Always gets
I've never
me.
seen that one.
Oh, it's good. It's really good. It's sentimental. It's funny. It has a really good cast. It's also from about 20 years ago. And then we saw a new one. I think a lot of people watched this weekend because it was like front and center on Netflix. Carry On.
Oh, I have
with
that on my
Jason
list.
Bateman.
I was trying to tell my wife we gotta watch. Is it good?
Jason Bateman as the bad guy.
Is it worth it?
I liked it. Yeah.
I love Bateman.
It had me intrigued the whole way through.
And I feel like, and I just read the thing and watched the trailer. It feels like they're trying to play a little bit of a Die Hard thing where it's like it happens
Sure.
on Christmas, but
Yeah.
it's not really a Christmas movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I recommend that one. It's got Taron Egerton as well is in that, but Jason Bateman's the bad guy, which is he never plays the bad guy.
Bateman is so good.
I love him.
I'm so disappointed that Ozark is done. Like it was one of my favorite shows ever. All right.
Were you an Arrested Development guy, Hassel?
I wasn't when it was out, but we did the whole thing. I don't know 5 years ago where we rewatched it. It's so fucking
Hey,
fun.
while we're doing this, I don't know if it's all my hormones or whatever. Chris, you like a good sports documentary?
Your hormones?
Yeah, with all my tea. I was bawling in my living room on Sunday morning. I started watching the Netflix series Senna on the old
Senna?
Formula One driver Ayrton Senna, and like I knew how this thing was going to end. But it's
Wait, did he get killed or something?
Yeah, he gets killed in a crash. He might be the best Formula One race car driver in history. I was sitting, so I started this like 3 weeks ago. I started as like a background noise while I work out type thing, and then I got so into it, and I was literally sitting there crying, watching the final episode yesterday. Like tears just like dripping down my face.
Oh, we got a good suggestion from Kyle. I had forgotten about this one. It's probably from about 10 years ago. Office Christmas Party with Jason Bateman. Funny Christmas movie.
I haven't seen that one.
I think I saw it when it came out. I'm not sure I've seen it since, but that's a good Christmas one too.
Speaking of that, Four Christmases is one of my favorites, and we were supposed to play the family. We were supposed to be in a nativity scene.
Nativity? Okay, add another one, Van Winks.
That's how I pronounce it.
Nativity scene?
Nativity.
Nativity?
Nativity, yeah.
No.
What do you say?
What is it?
nativity?
Nativity.
No, it's
It's
nativity.
nativity.
Nativity?
Yes,
Yes.
you're pronouncing
Like it's a
it wrong.
horse neighing?
Nativity. We
It's
were supposed to
nativity.
do this. It got canceled, but I was going to really crush the role of Joseph the way that, what's his name? Vince Vaughn does in that movie. You know what I'm talking about? When Dwight Yoakam is the pastor?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, kind of.
No. Okay. Never mind.
How do you both say nativity?
It's
Seriously.
nativity scene. It's the nativity scene.
Going out there to that look at that nativity scene.
Which two of these people go to church? We would
What the
know.
hell does that have to do with it? I grew up Catholic. I grew up with nativity scenes
Yeah, the
in my
priests.
house.
Those priests that Hassel went to college with have pushed him out of the religion.
Yeah.
Chris Gannon chimes in. It's not nativity.
It's a nativity.
And everyone's chiming in. You guys are
What's the root of the word?
idiots.
Native.
We are presented
Nativity
by Fareway
scene? What a joke. You guys,
Meat and Grocery.
you've ruined, my birthday was already ruined, but
We are in the Channel Seed Studios, and while you're driving around on ice, you should basically you should make sure to not be driving around on shitty tires. Can we all agree there? Don't drive around on shitty tires. You should go to our friends at Freedom Tire. There's no you don't want to die at 65 like me and Hassel were talking about, so you may as well not get in a car wreck. And I bet if that those people in Bondurant where their deal was just sliding down the thing, if they would have had better tires from Freedom Tire, that probably wouldn't have been the case. I guarantee them things are balding. FreedomTire.com. They got locations all over the metro. How's that for an ad read? Also, I'll give you another good one. Are you tired of being fat? Are you tired of having no energy? 2025 is your year. Game Day Men's Health. I got tired of being a fat ass, and I went to Game Day Men's Health, and I'm down 30 pounds. It's a God's honest.
when are you
going to
share that? When are you going to share that picture of you
Not
when you
doing it
started
on
the
here.
tea?
Because I don't trust these people.
What do you
in
mean?
the comments? I don't trust the people.
I'll give
What
a
do you think they're
second.
gonna
I
do?
can give a secondhand testimonial. I saw Williams the other day for the first time in like a month, and he looked like a different person. Like
I will attest. Van
Amazing.
Winks told me that in confidence, that he was partially aroused when he saw Williams in person for the first time in a while.
By the way, Williams, I
Game
heard you
Day
talking
Men's
on Fanatic about you had to get stitches in your head. You never told us about this.
Yeah, weird stuff going on with Williams.
I mean,
Yeah,
He only
it was-
shares stuff over there on the Cyclone
No, I
Fanatic.
didn't. I had a bad situation where I was moving things around with storage and dropped this bike thing on my head, and it just started bleeding everywhere.
Where
It was
at on your
really
head?
It's all kind of filled in now, but they had to like glue it shut, and it was just because like you just your head bleeds. Apparently, it's like a big bleeding area.
yeah.
Well, I mean, heads bleed.
No, I guess no. The doctor at the urgent care was telling me about it. He said
the
like your
skin's
hair
just so
follicles
thin.
and stuff just make it like, especially when you're bald, like because there's no.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah, I cut my head open when I
you
was a kid.
bleed
and I had
more when
stitches
you're
and it
bald?
just Gushed blood.
he was telling me about it, like something about like your follicles and all this stuff. But yeah, you bleed a lot from your head, and it was a bloody mess.
I thought you were working out or something and dropped a weight on your head.
I
and
wish that would have been a much cooler story.
juiced up.
That would have been a much better deal. Okay, before we get into this, I want to get this. We want to help people here on Two Guys. We've done a lot of this with Cyclone Fanatic over the years, and it's time we do it on IO everywhere. But a story got brought to my attention a couple weeks ago about this kid. His name is Bennett, and Bennett was born with Down syndrome, and he was born with a heart defect. The kid has had open heart, bad heart surgery when he was an infant. And Chris, about 10 days ago, he got diagnosed with leukemia as well. He's currently at the U of I Children's, and a good local family here who we have some connections to, and we would like to pay off his medical bills if possible. So we created a GoFundMe Matt's posting it right now in the comments. I think it'd be awesome if we all come together. Just give a little bit. If everybody can give $10, that's a lot of money going to this family that's super, stressed out about other things, and they don't need to be worrying about the medical bills and all that crap as they are going through hell with this boy. Bennett loves sprint car racing, so we got a bunch of World of Outlaws drivers and stuff that are going to be compiling videos to send to him and all that stuff. And you'll love this, Hassel. You being the animal lover you are. He's found a ton of comfort with therapy dogs there at the children right there. See,
Oh, wow. That's cute.
That's kind of what's getting him through it. So we are going to be talking about this and hoping to raise a ton of money for this family. There's 2 ways to do it. You can Venmo them if that's easiest for you. There's the deal. And we also created a GoFundMe because that's super easy, and we wanted to make it as easy
The
as
Venmo
possible.
goes right to them?
Right to the family. Yep. It goes directly to that family. Correct. The way we have it set up. And then the GoFundMe goes to the, it sits there, and then I'll transfer it to the family is how that works. So we're trying to help some folks out here, and yeah.
Great.
That's what I got. We'll keep
No,
talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, geez, and it's such a tough time to be going through it as well during the holiday season.
Horrible.
And, oh my God.
Horrible.
What it's not a lot, but what we can do will help ease it a little bit for them. So anything helps,
Yep.
please.
Spread it around, and I actually think it's kind of cool. The sprint car community is kind of catching on to it because he's
Great.
That's like his big passion is sprint car racing, and and then his mama is she's a vet tech of my wife's.
Okay.
So that's how we kind of know each other, and really good people that we're helping. They live in Newton, by the way, so this is a directly local family that we're all coming together to try and support. Let's do football portal. I'll start with Iowa State. Like they couldn't have had a better week. Like it could not have been better. Hassel, like
Certainly seems that way.
well, they've kept everybody as the biggest thing. Okay, like that's the number one thing. Like Dom Orange, like all these guys were kind of worried. Like kept them all, but then they get the 2 stud wide receivers who they had identified to come in and kind of replace Higgins and Knoll. Now, can they directly replace Higgins and Knoll? Like probably not. Like that, like that's a big thing to ask. But now you have these like bodies to go in there, like real dudes. This Soul, who committed from East Carolina, his backstory real quick for you, gets cut from Colorado when Dion gets there, goes to East Carolina. He had like 4 touchdowns last year. They think that he could be like the next Higgins type, where lightly recruited. But the thing is, he's in the portal. He has offers from Ole Miss, Florida, and he chooses Iowa State because he knows he can come in and just be the man right away, is how they got this kid. And then this other kid, Townsend, Xavier Townsend, he was a previous Iowa State commit, played some high school ball with Rocco Beck. There's a background there. Played for UCF this year. He pulled out. He was one of those guys who said, I'm not going to play after 4 games because I'm transferring. So that's why he didn't really have any stats last year. His last game was that game against Colorado where Colorado went in there and beat them. But this has been not only getting these 2 top prospects, these are the top 2 dudes that Iowa State zeroed in on. Most importantly, that they've been able to keep people, which is the hardest thing when you're at these Big 12 ACC schools, when you just don't have the money that the SEC does. I don't know if Iowa State football could have had a better week when you combine that with Matt Campbell's new contract.
Yeah, and Rocco Beck just putting it out there that he's not going anywhere. Not that you thought he would anyway, but 100%.
That kind of started it all, right?
Now, right?
Yeah.
Are you worried at all that Townsend's one of those guys that, some would say he quit on his team?
Maybe, yeah, but I also you're not wrong. I also think that isn't that just part of the.
A lot of people are doing it now.
I blame more than these kids, young men.
The system,
I blame the system. Like the system got set up this way, and they only get 4 years.
How many years does Townsend have left?
3.
That many?
Yeah, I think so. 2 or 3. I think 3.
I watched the tape on the Soul too from East Carolina. Wow, he reminds me. I mean, people were comparing him like Hakeem.
A lot of these receivers to the NFL. Higgins is going to be a top 3-round pick, and I think that's. And I also know that Higgins and Knoll kind of helped recruit these guys when they were on campus, so that doesn't hurt.
And another thing that helps recruit him is just look at the only program in the country that has 2,000-yard receivers, and you're looking to replace both of them. I'm surprised how fast it came together. I mean, I guess with Townsend, it makes a little more sense that it was faster because the guy left after 4 games. I mean, he's been ready to go, and he has a history with Iowa State.
That's the key. He knows all those coaches and half the team.
But there was a tweet from Anthony Becht that you got a kid coming in, and I think he was specifically referencing, is it Soul? Is that how it's pronounced?
Soul, I believe.
Soul.
Yeah.
Although I shouldn't be asking you guys how to pronounce anything.
I was thinking that, but I was going to draw you more attention to it.
But that he said Iowa State was his first visit with all these other big-time visits lined up in the SEC and what have you, and to see enough on that first visit to just say, you know what, that's all I'm going to do. I'm coming here. This is where I want to be. Even if it is, maybe it's a little less money. Maybe you could have gotten more over there. But that says a lot.
Play, man. Like they want to play, and so one thing, it's like when you're Soul going to Florida and they're recruiting 6 other dudes just like you.
Right.
And Iowa State doesn't have another 6'4" dude like that on its roster. Like, I mean, you got a couple of freshmen that you're trying to develop, but it's not like that. Like, it's different.
And you have something tangible to show him. This just happened this year with the same quarterback, Rocco Becht, the only place where you have 2,000-yard receivers. Van Winks, you say you got some breaking news?
Some somewhat breaking news related to topic. A lot of news outlets are reporting that Florida State head coach Mike Norvell has agreed to restructure his contract that includes $4.5 million to their NIL. The
All of a sudden, these coaches
the Vision
now
of Excellence
Jesus,
Initiative.
What a stupid name. God.
The student athletes.
Can we just say that we're paying the employees? Like, can we just quit dancing around the fucking truth?
Vision of Excellence, the Student Athlete First Initiative.
Vision of Excellence Initiative, a.k.a. you went 1-11.
Right. Did you see the Penn State backup quarterback is in the portal?
No,
before the playoff even starts. And a guy who has been used at times in other packages because he's a little different quarterback than Aller. And he basically said, "Look, I've got to do it." Now you've had other people say, "Yeah, I'm going to the portal, but I'm going to finish things out with my team." Because I guess you can do that.
It's the system. Don't blame the kid. They set it up this way.
Yeah, the system sucks. It has to be changed very soon.
The portal needs to be open after all this shit, but then the problem is there's still student athletes. So if you do want to you have to do it before the semester. Like, that's the problem that they have right now. They don't want them to be employees, which, okay, like, whatever. What do you do? And that's why I was also saying you're actually at an advantage for next year if you're not in the playoff.
Yeah.
In the portal. Like, you're at an advantage to not be in the play. Like, a team like Ohio State would have been able to do a lot more out of the playoff compared to in it.
And you might have to fire your coach in a week.
Dude,
and be way behind on that.
Too, to note on that, and thank you for bringing that to our attention, Matt. So that's the second time now in a week we've seen a Big 12 and an ACC coach take less money that is presumably going to go to NIL, because Mike Gundy had the same thing.
But does that count toward the $21 million?
No. Well, yeah, it could. Yeah, absolutely it could. Absolutely it could. So, like, let's say, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals. I have no idea where these. Let's say Oklahoma State goes to Gundy and they're like, hey, we have $10 million. That's all we can afford. You're making
$10 million for football?
Yeah. Okay. And Gundy goes, hey, okay, instead of paying me $9, pay me $4. and take 5 of that and put it towards NIL. So that's saved money, and now it's going to the players instead of the coaches. Well, it's amazing what happens when your employees aren't working for free. The whole business structure changes, doesn't it? I can't wait to see Matt Campbell's new contract. I'm not saying he's making less. He shouldn't be, because he was already a low end as far as pay goes. But I'm guessing whatever his raise is not as much as it would have been in the pre-revenue sharing era. I'm just guessing. I don't know anything. We'll find out those details when that becomes public.
So you're telling me if, let's just say, Ohio State is going to put $18 million to football, and let's just say they go hire a new coach, and they offer the coach $10 million a year, and he says, you know what, just give me 5. I want the other 5 to go to football. They wouldn't be able to do that because it would be over the max?
There's still a cap, correct, yeah. So they can only hit the $22 million.
I don't know. I don't believe that this cap is going to be real.
I don't either.
In all totality. Like, I think it's going to be real in the athletic department, whatever, the books and all that. But I think, like, you cannot tell me that somebody can't just throw in another couple million and it's going to have to be on the books. And, well, no, we can't do that because we've already reached our cap total. No, they're going to find ways around that.
Absolutely. Just like, remember when NIL first started and it was Jordan Bohannon at a fireworks stand?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we just completely manipulated that to be like, oh, we're gonna pay these guys $10 million and have them do charitable acts around the community, which, again, is great. Like, I hope that doesn't go away. We've seen it in our state, like how much these players being around like the community, like, but it won't. It's not going to stay the same when it goes in-house because it's just going to be transactional at that point.
So are we no longer going to be asking just random fans for monthly donations? There's no way that's going to stop. There's no way that that's going to stop.
From what I understand, like it's all going to be like in-house, and it'll be like, hey, you give your money to Iowa or Iowa State, and then they choose what to do with it. And if like a business,
what do you mean? So you can donate to the school instead of the collective, and then but they're not going to cap that. There's no, you know what? No, we already hit our 21 million. We can't take. No,
they're always going to want more money.
Keep
so
your
then
money.
They can pay their coaches more. They can pay their facilities, all the stuff that it takes to run an athletic department. It's wild.
All that stuff.
Fans are never going to be stopped being asked for money to pay players.
Well, it's like I say, It's like every year, we hear about these Big Ten television contracts. It's awesome. Good. Get your money. Is the parking cheaper in Iowa City? Mm-hmm. Is the beer cheaper in Kinnick State? No, they don't do that. They just keep milking us like a cow.
Like a cow.
That's the truth. It never ends for the fans, and it won't here either. It's just it's going to be more less Wild Westy. But we've had that with the NCAA, and I don't have a lot of faith. My thing is this is real inside baseball, but they talk about like what is fair market value for an NIL deal. Well, that's different in Iowa compared to LA.
Well, obviously, yeah.
And who's going to be deciding that? I don't know. Like, is it going to be these, like, local people deciding that? Is it going to be some dude in his boardroom in New York? Like, how's that going to work? Like, Caitlin Clark, fair market value, you could say her fair market value would have been $250 million. She was, you're right? Like,
yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. And I would also say, like, if you're the quarterback at Iowa State or Iowa, your fair market value is much higher than whatever some person in New York will believe it to be.
Right. Yeah.
Because of our state with no pro sports and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We are two guys, Chris and Chris, on the 40th birthday of one Christopher Hassel. Hammer and Hank, Hawkeye Hammer and Hank, coming to town. Got yourself a quarterback.
We kind of knew that was coming when we did our show last Thursday.
Yep, we saw him at the football game.
It's official now.
Or the basketball game.
You know what happened? He experienced that Carver Hawkeye Arena magic
He heard the "Let's Go State" chant, and
that energy in there, and he's like, I got to play here. Again, I don't think they're bringing this kid in to be the starter next year. I think they have grander plans. I think they have their sights set on bringing in a more veteran quarterback because this kid's young. A veteran quarterback that can, in their minds, win this job over Brendan Sullivan, and this young man could be the future. Maybe. I hope so. I mean, he looks the part.
He has great hair.
And I trust Lester. You guys trust the process.
Man,
we
you're
trust
putting
Lester.
a lot into this Tim Lester, and
Hey, look what he did in year one.
it's pretty good.
Look what that sumbitch did. Remember when I did that little video on the show? Ben Winks or Aiden edited it together, and it was like, don't try to reach for the stars, and
Get me to the moon.
just get me to the
It
moon.
was like Thursday nights in college.
Don't
You
try
lower
to,
your
because his
standards,
goal was
up
like,
your average.
we want to cut everything in half. We want to be, top 70 in scoring and in yards per game. And I said, you just go to the moon. Just get me 99th. They went to the stars offensively.
What did they finish at overall offensively?
Look it up. He did
That
what he said he
Nebraska
wanted
game,
to do.
I don't know if I'd call that the stars, Chris. I mean, feel like we're maybe getting ahead of our skis.
I'm talking
just a
about the season as a whole and what they did. I'm pretty sure they're top 70. Now, they had
an
one of the
elite
best
running back.
offensive players in Iowa history in Caleb
Yeah.
Johnson for
little
at least a
mastodon,
season.
but they did have him. Like you can't just. It drives me nuts when sports fans do that.
When they do what?
When they'll be like, "Well, if you take away those 2 long runs, but we had the 2 long runs, right?"
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, if you take away the 70-yarder and the 90-yarder, he really only had 30 yards in that game. Have you found the stats, Van Winks? I'm telling you.
What do you want me to judge this on? Yards per game?
yards per play is always my favorite.
Okay, yards per play.
He was talking about
Okay,
points per game and yards per game.
Okay, yards per play.
Yards per game is a bad metric.
But that's what he wasn't talking about yards per play. He was talking about yards per game.
I know, but that's such a bad statistic because if you have low
All right,
possessions,
okay,
here's
yards
a
per-
number for you right now. Iowa finished averaging 28 points per game. That was 66th in the country. That's exactly what he was trying to do. He said he wanted to cut the numbers in half, from 130 in half.
points per game.
and in his defense, the special teams and defense very much neutralized. They weren't bad, but they weren't like at this elite level, which you had seen. So it's a damn good thing the offense did that.
The total offense wasn't good, 113th, 331.5 yards per game.
Yeah, but they play a low possession game, though. That's
Right.
why it doesn't matter.
Right.
Give me yards per play. That's all. That's the only one that matters. Points per possession and yards per play. Total offense is a shit statistic in 2024.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I think Iowa's offense was better than 113th.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I guarantee their yards per play is much higher. than that.
All you need to know is the points. It's all about the points. They cut that in half. They averaged 20. Can you believe 28 points per
We
game?
gotta
I never
get
would have
you
thought that.
And this Lester on, I just want to let you just dive right into him. You
What do you
love Tim Lester. Well, I want to watch you interview him. I think it'd be great.
I think most Iowa fans do. I mean, that was a minor miracle this season, what he got out of that offense.
5.4 yards per play, 74th in the country. So
Okay.
there you go, top 100.
That's if you would have told me
5.4
that
yards
before
is
the
pretty
season.
good. They were in like 3 last year. I
Iowa
think.
State was 5.7, 51st in the country.
Yeah.
If you would have told me those numbers before the season, I would have thought this team would be 10-2 with, potentially on the edge of a playoff. But the defense regressed pretty big time. Gave
Last
up a
year,
lot more
Iowa-
points than we thought.
3.8 yards per play. This year, 5.4. So drastic improvement.
Let me ask you this, Chris. I was thinking about this. Because I felt like the fan base after that Northwestern game. The
They
game
blew
when
out
y'all-
Washington. They blew out Northwestern.
They all salivated.
They blew
over
out
Sullivan.
Wisconsin.
You know, and everybody's all
Salivating over Sullivan?
Yeah. And then the UCLA game happens, and it's like, he's dead to us. I guess my question is, what if he plays really well in the bowl game? Will people, are we okay if, let's say, he has a good showing in the bowl game? Because you guys are a little bit, and you're a little skittish on the quarterbacks, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you at this point. Would you be okay with this Hammer and Hank, Sullivan, and Action Jackson going into 2025?
I think that would be clearly better than what Iowa has had going into any season the last several years.
Here's my point. I would make the argument, Iowa's offense, Iowa's program, you're better off to not go out and spend $1 million on one of these quarterbacks and go to war with those guys and get better everywhere else.
I'm not sure that they are going to spend $1 million on some big name
like
transfer.
they did with McNamara. And
I don't know that it's going to be something like that.
Big money for McNamara.
It might just be,
it's like
it could be a grad transfer from a MAC school. But a guy who's experienced.
That's what I would want, or like a high level FCS guy.
Yes,
right.
It could
from
be
a winning program. Guy who's won games.
But the offense, the quarterback anyway, next season is going to have to be significantly better than what they had this season, because you're going to take a drop in the running game.
And your schedule's tougher too.
Oh my God. The schedule, this is a real schedule. This is a big boy schedule now. I love it. When I saw the schedule for next season, my nipples got hard. This is what you want as a college football fan. Iowa has had so many Big Ten West type schedules, even the one they had this season. It's just, you get like one opportunity against a good team. Next season, in conference play, you get Penn State at home, you get Oregon at home, you go to USC. Like, that's a cool game. You get to go to USC. I didn't even mention you get Indiana at home with the SIG.
Three
a playoff team.
teams.
Three playoff teams coming to Iowa City next season.
At Iowa State and at Nebraska should both be tough games.
Of course, yeah.
At Wisconsin.
I mean, but that's the type of schedule where if you lose a couple games early, you still have a chance to salvage the season, make real memories. Like, what do you remember about 2016 and 2017 if you're an Iowa fan? They weren't great years, but you beat Michigan at home one year. You beat Ohio State at home another year. Like, you have opportunities. That's what I want as a fan, to be able to have these opportunities where you're not just sitting there at 6-3 and there's nobody left on the schedule. There's not a single interesting game maybe outside of just a rivalry against Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I hope that the majority of their Big Ten schedules are like this. I want it to be tough.
That is a schedule. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap.
And I think schedules like that, we've talked about this before, it forces you to become better. It forces you to think differently.
That's a schedule, too, where it's, remember we had this talk last year where it's like, yeah, we want Iowa's offense to get better, but we don't necessarily think it's that smart for them to completely change, because that's one where if you can play the low possession game with good defense, keep the ball on the ground, and suck the air out of the ball, like that's how you win in that schedule.
You saw Wisconsin almost did it against Oregon.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not calling for spread offense. I never have.
Air raid.
No.
On the flip side, I was looking at Iowa State's schedule for next year. Completely forgot you open with Kansas State. Well, they have the non-conferences.
You forgot about Ireland?
Well, you start with Kansas State.
Now. I honestly
yeah.
Dude,
Why?
Because I don't think they would have beaten Kansas State in September this year. Campbell's programs always get better as they go on. Give me Albany in that. Honestly, I'm not. Just going off of what Campbell's teams do, they're always better later on. That's going to be a tough game in the middle of August.
You get South Dakota, and then get Iowa and Ames, and then you go to Arkansas State Forgot they had the
Oh God, they have
home and home with Arkansas State.
Who the hell's
no.
the coach there too? They have like a real coach, if I remember correctly. Is that team
at Arkansas State.
Isn't that the team Iowa State played this year? I guess.
Yeah.
It's like an old SEC guy.
Butch Jones.
Yes.
And he just signed a contract extension through the 29 season. Ben Winks, can you pull up the rest of Iowa State's schedule next season? I haven't looked at their schedule in
They haven't announced
full.
an actual schedule.
Oh, they haven't.
but
Okay. Who are their opponents? Like, do they play Colorado? Do they play BYU?
I do think Colorado is on the schedule next year.
They've kind of announced the loose, like who you're going to play, but they haven't announced dates.
Yeah, pull that
I'll
up for
find-
us for real quick, Maddie.
Yeah, I want to see him play Colorado, BYU, Arizona State. Like, play the good teams. Like, you guys, you got to the title game because you didn't have to face any good teams.
Stop it. Jesus. You just can't. You can't.
Nick says they get Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State next season.
Yeah, it's a very different schedule.
Where are we at here, Van Winks? What am I looking at?
This
is
is
the
be
most
more
This is the
confusing.
matrix. This is the advanced matrix
Jesus.
schedule. So Iowa
Okay,
State
so
gets
they get-
Colorado, TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Cincinnati.
Those
away.
are all away. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Go
That'll
to
be a hard
Colorado.
game. At Cincinnati will be hard.
Arizona State, BYU,
Okay.
and Kansas. So pretty
That's a
good.
good home schedule.
Conference slate. Yeah.
That's a good home
Yeah,
schedule.
you get BYU and Colorado as a whole. You get Arizona State and BYU at home, along with Arizona. Who knows? Maybe they bounce back.
Yeah.
I doubt it because they're going to lose.
Dude, they've lost like 30 guys in the portal.
Arizona has. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And
They hate their
McMillan's going to be a top 10, top 15 pick likely. So, yeah, look, two good schedules I think for next season. So who are they not playing? Like anybody from this season that was
Utah,
I guess they don't.
right?
I guess it'd be
They don't get
UCF.
Utah. They don't get
UCF,
West Virginia.
Cincinnati. No, they do get Cincinnati. Sorry, that's away.
Maybe we can do
Baylor?
this on Thursday.
Baylor.
Will be a little more. That'll be good to miss out on Baylor because they're going to be good.
And Houston.
All right. Other couple of notes on college football. Marshall had to just completely cancel its bowl game because the entire team is transferred.
How about that? So they win the Sun Belt. They win the Sun Belt. Their coach leaves for a fellow Sun Belt team that went like 1-11, Southern Miss, and then all their players get into the portal.
What's wrong at Marshall where you would leave Marshall for Southern Miss?
I don't know what the connection there is. I don't know why a coach would have done that. Maybe the Brett Favre money was flowing down there at Southern Miss. I have no idea.
That he stole from all those poor people.
So they were going to play
Allegedly.
Yeah, they were going to play Army in the bowl game, and so now it's going to be some 5-7 team, I guess. And we're going to see more of this if they don't change this portal thing up.
Yeah, but it's the media's fault, Chris, that these guys the players don't value bowl games because the media has told them that it doesn't matter. That's what I've heard from some of our listeners.
Because
It's
they're
the media's
exhibition
fault.
games.
Yeah. The media did this.
How did we get this far into the show? We're 48.5 minutes into the show, and you guys haven't talked about that dumbass toaster trophy.
It's not a big deal to me. Van Winks loves the Pop-Tart
Oh,
thing.
give me more of that. Bring that baby
Hey,
back
that's
to
so
Ames. Let me toast
stupid.
my Pop-Tarts in it.
This is setting up to be a fun bowl game, though, because I don't think Iowa
Hey.
State's going to have any opt-outs, and Cam Ward, swears he's playing for Miami.
I know he keeps saying that. I don't know, man. Does he play for a quarter and then shut it down? I mean,
That's
I was
a neat
talking
little
with
trophy right there. That would look good in Ames, wouldn't it?
that kind of fits.
Put that
Iowa
by
State
Hoodger's
football
office.
history.
Just make a
That
little
seems
Pop-Tart.
like a trophy that Iowa State would have gotten, like for previous bowl games. Back in the era when you weren't a real football program, so you go to some dumb bowl, the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
the neatest
I
trophy-
remember in '87 we went to the Pop-Tarts Bowl and they gave us a toaster as a trophy.
The neatest trophy is that Liberty Bowl one. The bell. That is a neat trophy. You ever seen that thing up close?
Yeah, give me a functional trophy.
It's a really cool
Yeah, that's cool.
trophy. I wish that they would have won all three of those just to have
If you
those
guys
there.
win the Pop-Tarts trophy, Van Winks works at Iowa State. We need cameras around that trophy because you're going to find a little Van Chubb, a little Van Tip inside
don't
that
put-
trophy at some
Don't
point.
put your Van Tip in the toaster oven. Matt.
People had some great ideas for Bloom. Like anytime you want to toast your Pop-Tart, you make a $10 donation to We Will, and you can stop by the
that's a great
Jacobson
idea.
and just pop your
Gonna need a little
Pop-Tart
more
in
than
there.
$10.
I don't like gimmicks.
It's not a gimmick. It
is a gimmick. This whole thing is a gimmick.
Williams, if Iowa State wins, are you going to go down on the field and watch them just devour that live mascot? Just murder him?
I think so. I think I'm going to.
I'm jealous.
Dominic Orange just taking a bite out of that Pop-Tart.
Does your dad call him Dominic Orange?
That
Big
old
citrus,
orange,
baby.
Orange down low. Let's do Triple B, shall we? Kelderman.
Bigger, better, bolder. Built by Kelderman Manufacturing.
Kelderman goes to a different Aaron Lewis concert.
What? You jumped the gun there. You got cut off.
You know Kelderman?
Yeah.
He goes to a different Aaron Lewis concert every week, I swear. He's always FaceTiming me.
And Aaron Lewis is the guy that you played for me. He sings like, I wasn't born in China.
Yeah.
I was made in the U.S. of A. So get off my lawn or I'll shoot you right in the face.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Absolutely. Kelderman brought me this Aaron Lewis T-shirt yesterday. He was at a concert I thought that was nice and American as it gets.
That's your Triple B?
No, he just sponsors the Triple B, so I thought I'd give him a shout out for bringing me the T-shirt. I thought that was nice.
That shirt just screams Williams. Got the bald eagle, the racing stripes.
Oh yeah, the
flag,
yeah, the freaking checkered flag in it. It's great.
That's gorgeous.
I want to do mine first. My favorite athlete, my favorite football player of all time, Randy Moss. Growing up in the 90s, 2000s Vikings fan. Has cancer. It's been well publicized. But man, I got to thinking of so much joy I had watching Randy Moss play for the Vikings. Not only the playing Randy, but the antics off the field. Yo, Randy, how you gonna pay your fine? Straight cash, homie. Rand University, one of the great 30 for 30s ESPN ever did. I love Randy Moss. And I love watching like how he's kind of matured into like this like fun commentator as well. You know, it's been really fun to watch him evolve. And thinking of Randy, hope he can. I don't know a lot about his diagnosis. It didn't sound great, but it's been cool to watch the sports world kind of rally around him this weekend.
The best wide receiver I ever saw. I didn't get to see prime Jerry Rice. Like I saw
that was always the debate. It was those two.
I mean, I think if you're of age, you're going to say Jerry Rice. Moss was just such a different receiver, though.
Yeah, you had one guy who was like possession, all hands, smart, and then the other one was so explosive.
God, just throw it up to the guy.
Yeah. Do you remember that Vikings team was the Gary Anderson team with Carter, Reed, and Moss? Oh.
That was one of my all-time favorite sports watching moments was when Gary Anderson missed that field goal.
Why?
Because my dad hates the Vikings so much.
I'm going to talk so much shit to Don when we kick your guys' ass tonight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they were even playing.
That's what you're getting for your birthday.
That's good. You want the Bears to lose if you're a Bears fan because it improves the draft stock. Van Winks, who's your Triple B?
Oh man, I'm gonna give mine to Travis Hunter. More Travis Hunter, and also to the people who finished behind him. I mean, it was a really tight race, right? I mean, one of the closest between 1 and 2 between him and Gnty. 200 votes separated about. What I thought was cool.
Great Heisman race this year.
It was. What I thought was cool was that there was no SEC players even in the top 10. So
That's
I think
pretty wild,
isn't it? I mean, you hear
thought
all the time about the top talent in the SEC, and for them to not get a single player with a vote in the top 10 is fascinating.
To me, this year was like a return to what the Heisman was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at that list, it's like true, like, 𝗙cie𝗶𝗶 belongs on there. In fact, I think he's under, even like, it's just not all the, like, best quarterbacks for the best teams like we've seen for so long. This was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't go to, like, Dylan Gabriel just because that's the only unbeaten team and he's the quarterback on that team. He's been really good.
I didn't even put him on my
ballot. You
ballot.
cannot argue that he even held a candle to the top two guys.
The top two dudes were, in my opinion, no-brainers. And then I had 𝗀𝗏𝗃 number 3 for mine, and I turned in my ballot before they played Iowa State just because I watched him play enough, like those late-night games. The other cool thing is you had a bunch of these West Coast guys. Remember the whole West Coast bias thing that was alive in the Heisman thing for so long? It's man, the old Pac-12 had a great night on Saturday in New York City.
You also put a tweet on the weekend, Chris, about the 8 of the top 9 Heisman vote getters started in G5 or FCS schools. That was
so
pretty cool.
Well, see, so you guys say cool. Is that cool?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Or does that suck?
I think it's great.
Because all those guys transferred out, except for Ashton Jeanty, who stayed at Boise State, and Bryson Daly, who stayed with Army.
Here's how I look at it. These players now, for the first time, have the option to improve their situation. And while it sucks if you're a Incarnate Word fan or
That's where Cam Ward started.
Sacramento State fan,
That's where Cam 𝗀𝗏𝗃𝗄 was.
I'm sorry that sucks for you. However, it kind of helps us build stars in this deal.
But how
right?
would you feel
like
if
these guys who have been around
Rocco Becht
It would
transferred
suck.
from Iowa State, and then he goes on and he's a top 10 Heisman vote getter, and then people are celebrating the fact, well, yeah, but and look at he started in the little old Big 12.
They're not.
Does that make you feel
different.
good? Is that
Shut
good?
up.
It's the same thing.
Not even close.
What are you talking about? It's the same thing. How do you think this makes the other
The Big
those
12's
other
a power
programs
conference.
feel?
These
It's
are
a level
mostly
below the Big
FCS
10 and the
schools.
SEC.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not.
It is. Well, you can't argue that.
I'm not arguing that. I mean, it's just economics. It's not.
I'm just saying, I don't know that it's
don't know,
necessarily
like, pound
a
for pound.
cool, great thing that 8 of the top 9 Heisman vote getters started at a Group of 5 school or an FCS school.
I
before
like it.
mostly transferring to power schools.
I like it as a fan though because it lets us. It gives us more to watch with these guys, right? Like, I mean, Travis Hunter has been a story for however many years. I remember when he committed to Jackson State, and we're
Yeah.
all like, God, like.
Yeah, he was the number 1 recruit in the
Right?
country. He
Like,
was going to
we
go
care-
to Florida State, I think.
As a sport, we care more about them when you've watched their journey. Genty's an awesome story. Like, he could have gone anywhere, and Boise State found enough money. They kept him there, and he damn near won a Heisman Trophy for him.
I think
Now they're in the playoff.
Caleb Johnson should have been above Kyle McCord.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, Caleb Johnson was awesome. I don't know. I didn't think that he would come close to even sniffing the top 10, let alone the top 5 or whatever to be a. He just, I mean, we know all about him because we're in Iowa. Iowa was a 8-4 team. Caleb Johnson, his numbers did not compare to Ashton Jeanty, and that I think was the biggest problem for Johnson not getting more love.
Yeah.
It's because when you have a running back that's putting up numbers like Jeanty is that are so much better than yours, that just, okay, well, there's our one running back. And then there's Cam 𝗀𝗏𝗃𝗄, who's doing it in a completely different way, just bulldozing everybody. And you don't have ground to stand on, really, as an argument to be a Heisman finalist when you have other players that are doing it even better at that position.
I thought it was a good night. What do you got, Hassel?
I'm going to go with the CBS Sports Network presentation of the Big 12 in college basketball.
Dude, that tripped me up yesterday. I flipped over on ESPN Plus and couldn't find the game.
And I'm happy to see a lot of Iowa State fans are thankful because
Yeah.
they know what the alternative would be. That game would have been on ESPN Plus. Who knows if the announcers would have been there? They certainly wouldn't have been on the ground as long as my buddy Mike O'Donnell, rotisserie chicken, who called that
Rotisserie's
game.
got Iowa State winning the national
Yeah.
title.
He loves Iowa
Way to
State,
go.
and he loved his weekend there. And this is why, how you realize why you guys are realizing that it's a different level of broadcast, because like Mike got in on Friday for a Sunday game. Mike went to practice the day before. Mike then went to shoot around the day of. I mean, he was firmly entrenched, if I could steal a phrase from Gene Chizik, with the Iowa State basketball program going into that game. There's just so many more things that go into a CBS Sports Network broadcast compared to, an ESPN Plus. And that's not a shot at ESPN. ESPN just has far more games. They just can't put it all. CBS Sports Network and CBS, they have a smaller number of games, and they can really do their due diligence on those games. And I thought Mike did a fantastic job. And he was sick as hell. He was so
really?
sick.
He wasn't around the team, was he?
Well,
He
if
was in
anybody
the
gets
student
sick, you'll know
section.
it was him. Well, yeah, but he doesn't care about the
What, is he
students.
spreading disease. Those kids got finals this week.
Oh, they'll be fine.
What was finals week like at St. Ambrose?
Honestly, I don't even remember.
Did the priests all come into your room and sit on your bed?
Yeah, the priests come in and they
help you study?
help you study. What you get a real one-on-one closed door meeting with the priests in your room.
Turn the showers on for you.
They lock the
nice and
door
warmed up.
after they walk in.
It's weird. I don't really remember because
What do you want to study today? What subject should we dive
I've got
into?
some philosophy for you. God damn, you guys. You've made it into a joke. A total joke.
You, Chris, with all due respect, you were a freshman in college.
Sophomore.
Sophomore, even worse. I challenge our listeners. Think about what you did, what you were doing when you were a sophomore in college on like a Friday night. You, Chris, lived with and showered with priests.
I didn't shower with priests, okay?
You all shared the same shower, did you not?
No, I think the priest had his own shower. We weren't walking into the community shower and, there's Father over there. Hey, Father, how's it hanging? No, that's not how it went. I think the priest lived on the same floor as us, but they had their own rooms, and I think their room was equipped with a shower.
Oh, that's nice.
And a toilet. Like, I never saw a priest in the community shower.
So you never, saw it?
No. No, I did not. I think it was all above board. But, yes, I loved it so much living with the priests my sophomore year that I decided to move out my junior year and live my last 2 years with my grandpa in another town and commuted to school.
God, you had such a different college experience.
Yes, I did.
To me,
I made no friends, none. Didn't go to any parties. I did not drink the entire time I was in college. Never once had anything.
So how did you get from that to we're out of college and like you're the one introducing me to craft beer? Like, how did you go from zero to? But you drank a lot in high school. You were kind of an alcoholic, right?
No, I was not an alcoholic. I in high school when I was like a sophomore and junior, I would drink some on the weekends. It was more the pot that was getting to me.
Yeah.
And it was more and I got into some trouble. And
Yeah, because
so
that basketball game, you didn't get to go to that basketball game.
Yeah, that was one of the times I got in trouble. That was
Because
for
you lied to your boss or something like that.
Well, you're getting a bunch of different stories of mine screwed up here.
And then that kid had his Oreos.
We crushed up his Oreo pubes and snorted them. And then my parents said, all right, God damn it, that's enough. We're sending you to live with the priests. And that's what happened. To answer your question, I remember I was about 24 years old and I didn't drink. And I didn't go out with people from work. And I was like, I've got to make some friends here. I got to figure out how to get this done. And, we'd go out on RVTV and the guys would be boozing. and I would
And
just be
you were
sitting
with
there.
Kristen, right?
I would
Like, so
throw. They would give us shots, and I would throw it up against the wall. I wouldn't drink it. And
which
so
is
I just
such a
decided I've
rude
got
thing to do. You just threw the shot against the wall.
in Centerville, and everyone saw it, and they were pissed. So then I decided, you know what? I need to become a better person and start drinking alcohol.
Good for you.
And that's when I started making some friends. That's when I started having career success.
Alcohol changes everything.
Now we're sponsored by Steeple Ridge.
Oh, baby.
Look at that Steeple Ridge bourbon right there.
Oh, God.
I bet you money they got Steeple Ridge bourbon at some of the full court press family of restaurants. Because I know that my guy Bruno and Pat Hoffman are good buddies. You could probably go to any of their, I would guess, like the Royal Miles got some Steeple Ridge bourbon there. I don't know about the Iowa Tap Room. It would make sense that the Iowa Tap Room would have Steeple Ridge bourbon, but I've never ordered a whiskey at the Iowa Tap Room. I always just get beer.
Yeah,
Down in the Ken's down below, right?
Yeah, the not so secret speak. Yeah, I know they have Steeple Ridge down there. Been down there a bunch of times. Remember them for all of your holiday lunches or whatever you're doing coming up. So real quick, a couple of quick things. And I totally forgot to promote this earlier. Overthinking starts today with Scott and Mackenzie.
Oh, right, finally.
That starts today, noon today. It's our new show.
And again, advice for Scott.
More,
Talk
we want more
less.
Mackenzie.
Talk less.
Less Scott, the better. That's going to be a really fun show.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
They're going to do a good job.
A
with
lead
that.
in right to Murph and Andy.
Murph and Andy at 1.
So what happens, though, if they go over
They won't.
their time?
They won't.
What
Because
happens if Scott gets on, one of his tangents and they go over? Does that mean Murph and Andy can't start until they...
We
No.
can have multiple shows going at the same time, but I would encourage them not to.
We're not going to do
How
that.
can you do... But like you could... Because
Aiden will
Iowa
shut 'em off.
everywhere... What?
Aiden will
We're
just
just gonna
stop
kick
the
'em off.
stream.
Okay, good. Just cut it off
Sorry,
midstream.
Your time is over. So we got that, and then tomorrow night, this is going to be a lot of fun. We are recording a Festivus CW pod. It's a Festivus
I don't know how this is going to work.
for the rest of us. I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear
Man.
about them.
I went on a Seinfeld binge over the weekend because, my wife's been sick and got nothing else to do. There's no sports on for the most part other than the NFL and college basketball. I did season 1 of Seinfeld.
God, that's painful.
Well, you think that, but man, there are some amazing scenes in
Is the
season
rental
1.
car one in season 1?
It is.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
And
You know how to take the reservation. You don't know how to keep the reservation.
I think perhaps the greatest scene in Seinfeld history happens in season 1. I'll save that for the CW pod. What that scene is. That it's. I don't know that you'll agree, but I think you'll say, God, that's an amazing scene.
Well, we're lucky because Aiden is 23 and he's as big of a Seinfeld junkie as you and me and Fails are.
That's great.
Like he got hooked at a young age and he knows all the scenes as well. So we're gonna do that. So that will air next week on Festivus, which is the 23rd. Matt has been working hard on a best of two guys.
Yeah.
Which Matt, I appreciate you doing this.
I feel like
I
today's
can't
show
imagine
is
how much-
kind of a synopsis of what's going to come in that. We've hit a lot of the greatest hits on today's show.
Yeah.
so.
Are you gonna add nativity scene too? Because I requested all of Williams's
There's too many
word
of those.
mix-ups.
Jeez.
So that will air on the 26th. We will not do a live show on the 26th.
So that's a week from Thursday?
I'll be heading down to Florida on that date.
And I'll be in California.
Yeah. Will you be in? When are you coming to Iowa? You come this weekend, right?
Who,
Thursday.
me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I come Thursday. I'm not going to Des Moines though. I'm just going to.
You just
Eastern
flying right
Iowa.
into Cedar Rapids.
Well, we're flying into Quad Cities. spending time over there. Then we're going to drive over to Corning to do a Christmas.
You going to the Adams County Speedway?
Yeah.
You go walk around the track?
We'll be doing a walk in the frozen dirt over there.
You know, I got people. They just released their 2025 schedule. We're getting the Malvern Bake Super Late models twice.
I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's awesome to you. But then flying out of Des Moines next, that Saturday after Christmas. But I'm not coming through Des Moines other than flying out of there.
You come down to
so I won't see
Orlando.
you.
Let's go to the bowl game together.
No, thanks.
Go
I don't want anything to
Bowl?
do with that Pop-Tarts Bowl. I think it's just a big gimmick.
Elite matchup. Two teams that barely missed the playoffs.
We'll see. It's a bowl game. It's an exhibition.
He is Chris Hassel. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hope that they just embarrassed the hell out of you on
God, I hope
CBS
not.
today.
Ugh.
For Maddie Van Winkle, my name is Chris Williams. Have a great Monday. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Iowa Everywhere.